welcome back to another episode of Beyond the Tap. We are here in EcoVet Studios, inside Bentonville Studios now, here in beautiful Hiawassee, Arkansas.
Oh, wow.
How you doing today, Mongo?
I'm doing great.
Good,
you know what? 4th of July just happened, and I'm feeling refreshed.
Do you still have all 10 fingers? All right.
Yes, I do.
Close enough. So what'd you do for the holiday? Did you do anything fun?
Yeah, I spent some time on the lake, and that was really nice. And the whole time I was a little fearful of people getting too close to me, but you know, I was fine.
Yeah.
It was good.
We kind of just hung and went to go visit family, and that was about it.
Did you blow stuff up?
We did. Awesome. Thankfully, nothing that shouldn't be blown up, which is great.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's always fun spending time with family.
Always.
And my son got to go with us, which was great.
Oh, that is fun. What were you drinking this weekend?
As far as my parents know, nothing. But as far as reality goes, I was totally enjoying the pre-made margaritas.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, it was, which ones were those? The
Is it in can?
Cayman Jack.
Oh,
Little
boy.
bottles. Yeah, those are good.
That's a party in a can.
So, I'm telling you, they're small, but they are mighty. So.
I agree. Yes.
But yeah, quick shout out. We want to give a huge thanks, of course, to the wonderful folks over at EcoVet Furniture who are a sponsor of our show here in our set. And
we love this bar. I think that's a Toby Keith song.
Yeah,
I didn't mean to make that association,
but
this is a great bar, and we love it. And a lot of wonderful memories have been had, and it's sturdy.
Yeah.
And we haven't knocked it over yet.
We haven't yet, but I feel like there's still room for that. And Mongo, who else do we have here represented on our set? That's our
beers.
Sponsor.
Oh no, okay. I was like, can't you tell what kind of beers it is? No, Growler USA just changed their name to Uptown Bar and Tap, and Rogers officially changed it.
Yeah.
So we'll keep making that association so people will know. But best food, awesome beers. Most beers on tap in Northwest Arkansas are in the actual state.
Beers.
Yeah, 100 beers. So you could go there 3 times and drink those all.
It's insane. Yeah.
I hope no one does that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That might be a little crazy.
Yeah, we love Seth. He's great.
Normally we do have some food here on set, but he's actually installing some new equipment there at his work today. So they're making that switch official.
Making it fancier.
But joining us today, we have Derek from New Province, and I'll tell you what, I don't know if if you're watching this on YouTube, you've seen his beers lined up here up front.
The prettiest cans, y'all.
I'm telling you, we're gonna figure out his artwork and I
want to know the story. We're gonna find that out.
All right, cool. So let's go ahead and bring him on, ladies and gentlemen. Derek McEnroe.
Hey, man.
From New Province Brewing. Woo!
Woo woo! Look at that sticker.
Telling you.
Look at that. You gonna grab some brews? Is there?
Hey, we got brews already?
Oh, we already got brews already. I don't know. We're just adding more brews.
Let's do this.
My bad.
That's all right. Hey, Derek, how you doing, man? Come on in.
Hey, guys. Good.
Welcome to the show.
Yeah, thank you very much. Thanks for having me. I appreciate it.
Yeah, no worries, no worries. So, welcome. What do you think, man?
I mean, dude, I was really impressed with the set. It was just straight up walking in, to be honst with you.
So it's the art behind
really
you?
Nice. Yeah, I mean,
totally the artwork.
Part of it.
Yeah.
I might have drawn the popsicle.
Particularly the king. Yeah.
Yeah.
Props, yeah.
So man, New Province Brewing. Let's just jump in.
Yeah. You own it, right? You and your family?
Yeah. Yeah. So me and my wife started New Province we opened the doors in 2016, but I mean, really it started. 2013 is when we really started coming up with the idea. 2014, and I mean, really, it was just kind of born out of just a passion of home brewing and
So it started in your garage? Is that it?
Well, to much to my wife's chagrin, the kitchen.
Okay, all right. How much room did you take up?
Yeah, like all of it every weekend.
That's awesome.
But I mean, really, when I started getting into it, just out of college, I got a job at Miller Coors. So I kind of jumped right into the beer industry just right out of college. And there I really started learning about just beer. And they really encouraged us to not just drink Miller Lite all the time. They encouraged us really to try a bunch of different beers. So
that's awesome.
Yeah.
What was one of the first beers you made?
Man, the first beer I made, I think, was it was really bad, but it was a red ale.
Okay,
I think that came with a kit, and man, like this was like I was renting this house, and so I had all the equipment, and I started the brew, and then I was like getting ready to chill the wort down like near the end of the brew, and I realized like I can't hook this thing up to like my faucet properly. So I was like, okay, well,
how do I do that?
yeah, I guess I'll just let this sit here and like hope it chills down properly.
Yep.
And then the next day, it's still like 150 degrees the next morning. Like it's just, it's basically like a train wreck. I don't know how much of a train wreck it is at this point, but it is bad.
Believe me, I understand. So I actually just did my very first home brew earlier this year.
It was good.
Yeah, thank you. It was a stout, and
It's a safe choice.
It didn't make her puke.
Yeah.
So
No, I
which is
felt great after it.
but yeah, we found out very quickly that even if it's just a 1 gallon kit, it does take a decent size of equipment. And so, we learned very quickly you're going to be able to see that drop on our YouTube channel before too long. Alex has been doing some.
Brew,
It's nuts, but So I understand that one. So how long would you say you homebrew before you actually said, hey, this could actually be a good business?
I guess it must have been like 3 or 4 years, something like that. Yeah, because I started pretty early on when I was there with Miller Coors.
Okay,
2011 or something like that, and then really ended up kind of like going strong on the idea 2014.
Yeah.
And then 2015 was like basically build out period because we were building this building from the ground up basically.
Yeah. Always in the location you're at right now, right?
Yeah, I mean, not to glamorize it, it's a metal building in the middle of Rogers, but
it's a nice
beautiful
facility though.
space,
I was like,
though.
I like it. I've done a couple things there.
And then we opened up in March 2016. So.
That's so cool.
Yeah,
so cool.
Yeah.
So whenever you opened, I mean, you guys were one of the forefront folks around here, right? As far as brewers go on that bigger scale.
Yeah, I mean, there are definitely people that came before us, Core, Ozark, Saddlebach, Fossil Cove. But yeah, I guess we were like relatively early.
Yeah.
There's definitely some brewers down in Little Rock, of course.
Absolutely.
But yeah, I guess we were relatively early, and we saw the scene kind of starting to develop, especially like when Benton County went wet, and we were like, man, we think this is something we could do. We're passionate about it. Like, we don't want to regret it. So we just kind of jumped in with both feet and didn't look back. So.
Because like a lot of folks around here or people listening right now might not realize that Benton County was not wet. Until what, 13?
Yeah,
right?
it was like 13 or 14, and that was when that was really the origin of the name. Really, is like when we're looking at like the transformation that was happening in Benton County.
Yeah,
and just felt like it was like this new like territory, new province.
Oh,
like that's kind of like what the origin of the name is.
Now, who came up with that? Was that you or was that your wife?
Man, I think it was probably me.
Okay, all right.
But yeah, I mean, we definitely went back and forth on a lot, and that one just kind of just stuck with us for a while. So
no
we
doubt.
just
That's great.
ended up going that direction. Yeah.
Okay.
I love that.
That's cool. Yeah, I mean, I'll tell you what. One of the coolest things that we've seen is just how quickly breweries can get going around here, and the community aspect. I mean, overall, would you say the earlier folks than you they received you well? Would you think that?
Oh yeah, definitely. I mean, I reached out to several of them and got some advice and helped me out a lot, and rethinking some things at times, and making sure that I was kind of setting myself up for success the best I could.
Awesome.
So,
yeah. Awesome.
And then of course, just going forward, I mean, we're constantly helping each other out, and so it hasn't been just a, hey, like I'm trying to start a brewery, like see you later.
It's not awkward.
We're like we definitely are in constant contact and helping each other out all the time. So
absolutely. And I've heard even just as one of our recent guests we had on, you've actually helped other brewers really find their feet and kind of get out on their own as well, right?
Well, I don't know. I wouldn't say helped, but I mean, Bradley was definitely a huge asset to our team.
Yeah.
Getting us from, because to be honest, like I was out there in 2016, trying to do it all, and found out pretty quickly that I could not do it all.
Yeah.
And so I had gotten us to a certain point in our sales and trying to get our beer out there, and Bradley really helped us get to really the next step.
That's cool.
Getting our beer out there even more. He had told us early on that he was interested in pursuing, his own brewery, and we were totally cool with that. And, he shared home brews with us that he had made, and, we were all really impressed. And, I mean, he's he didn't learn anything brewing wise from us. He's his own brewer for sure. And he's good at it. So.
What would you say is the biggest thing is that you've learned kind of along that brewing process? I mean, obviously there's just having done one, I realize, holy smokes, I literally know nothing about this. So you've got to have some really cool lessons from that.
Man, I don't know. It's definitely a big jump, going from homebrew to a production size system. There's differences there, of course. But there's just a lot of small things production wise that you don't really pay attention to on a homebrew scale a lot of times, but it adds up to be this kind of this big machine, right? That kind of all these different things feed into the end product, and you got to pay really close attention to all of them. And it goes from not just the production side, but I mean all the way into serving the beer in your tap room and getting your beer on shelf, and there's all these other aspects to it. Above and beyond just like brewing the beer, right? Like it's a beast.
Beast is a good word. Is there a certain style of beers y'all like to stick around, or like some kind of genre, or do y'all like to do experimental? Like, is there something y'all kind of stick to?
That's an interesting question because I think early on, like we did definitely have kind of more, I guess simple, for lack of a better word, styles that we were focusing on. The IPA, we had a pale ale, and then we had a Belgian double that's not around anymore.
Which one was that?
R.I.P.
That one was Migrant.
Nice.
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
Yeah, that was one of our originals. But we had these simple styles, and I would say we really started getting more experimental once Court kind of took over the brewing side. Okay. I was usually leaning more towards this like classical like approach to things, but Court's really adventurous and likes to try new ideas.
Yeah.
Okay.
And so it's a cool balance because he likes to push the limits. And so we started doing that with a lot of our seasonals. So I think you'll see a lot of our seasonals in particular push the envelope a little bit.
Yeah. Which one was pushed the most? Like, which beer of yours you were like, here we go, we're gonna try it?
Man, I think probably like maybe Island Bound would be kind of like the like most like conceptually complex beer, but just because there's a lot of different fruits in it that are coming together, and lactose and vanilla, and trying to create this concept of like this tropical smoothie IPA. But I mean, early on, like Court had come to the table with Café Muy Especial, which was our base imperial stout that we had brewed, and we were doing at the time, we were kind of doing these like kind of small pilot batches where we'd either brew a fresh batch of something small, or we would infuse something with a bunch of different components to make a new beer.
Okay.
And he kind of came, and we were doing this Uncharted series is what we call it. And he added coffee, vanilla, cinnamon, chipotle pepper. So it's like this huge
Chipotle burritos.
like amount.
We're just gonna put burritos.
Let's throw that in there too. Why not?
Well, before we go any further, we'll go ahead and jump in. What's the first one you brought?
I brought Spacesuit. So hopefully people have seen this beer out there. It's in
I saw it this week.
a lot of liquor stores out there, and obviously in the tap room. But this is what we call our session ale.
Okay, session ale here. Now, what sets apart for listeners who maybe aren't as beer smart? What is a session ale?
I mean, this one's kind of difficult for us to describe too, and we've gone back and forth a lot about how to talk about this beer because it really borders on this, like, obviously it's a session beer, but it borders on almost IPA, but not quite bitter enough.
Okay.
It's
Not
basically
like
hoppy, not bitter.
Yeah, like, so it's meant to be kind of like our take on like a light lager.
Okay.
Okay, cool.
But in ale form.
Yeah.
So instead of using a lager yeast and all that, we opt for a take with just a traditional ale yeast.
Yeah.
So we do use some flaked corn in there, flaked rice to really like lighten the body, make it nice and light.
This is nice and light.
It's 4.5%.
Okay.
And then we dry hop it with Citra and Comet.
Okay.
So you get a lot of that like copy character there, but it's not bitter. And it's really easy to drink.
Yeah, this is like maybe one of the most easy like soup, like one of the easiest.
We keep going
drinks.
for crushable.
I know I was trying to get away from crushable. Hey, I love that word.
It is.
But this is like, my friend had this on the boat, and I was like, "Give me a sip."
Yeah.
And this is delicious.
I think I bought a 6-pack of this month and a half ago, maybe. Yeah. And just
crushed
it did not stay around long.
Yeah, no,
yeah. I mean, absolutely. Yeah, it's a lighter beer as far as the texture and everything. Like it's easy to consume. I don't know if you guys here. I'll
watch
hold this
our
up
YouTube
for Rami here. So, but man, I tell you what, this beer, it's not hazy at all. It's got a really, really great look to it.
Yeah,
and you can definitely taste that Citra in there.
Yeah, I think it's interesting because I think it comes out like very like peachy, and not like super like citrus forward like you might expect. Just I think because of we're not using as much as normal, and then it's only the dry hop really, so it's pretty cool.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
I think that this is just kind of a lot of the way the industry's going right now, right? It's a little bit towards the lighter end of things.
Yeah, like seasonally.
Yeah, so like people are really enjoying just being able to drink a couple beers and not be like wasted, right?
Yeah, or like super full.
Yeah,
that's something I struggle with. It's like sometimes people associate body and taste and thickness to be like a thing, but I'm like, actually, I've had a lot of light body beers that are really great and have tons of taste. Yeah. Spacesuit. Now, what's behind the name? Is it because of Steve Carell? I'm sure.
Well, the original idea was like we were toying around with the idea of calling it a low gravity ale.
Okay.
That was kind of like where it kind of originally started, the idea.
What does that mean for listeners as well?
Yeah, so gravity in a beer is just like a measure of residual sugar that's left over at the end. Okay. So this beer in particular is very dried out. So the finishing gravity is super low.
Meaning then that's where like the yeast will eat up
all
sugar, right?
Eat up all those sugars. Yeah.
So how long does that take to happen in what's your brewing process?
Well, I mean, this beer, is really fast because of the low ABV. So, most of our beers take, I think, like 17 to 19 days to turn through as an ale. So,
that's awesome.
So it's about it does ferment a little faster than the rest, but the overall process is still about the same. Yeah. But that was the original idea. But we weren't sure that people would understand like what low gravity kind of was trying to get at.
Yeah.
So we kind of toyed with the name a little bit, and
we hope all of you now get it.
Yeah.
Tell your friends.
But that was the original idea. Then we were calling it like a dry hop session ale at some point. We kind of backed off that because we don't want to scare people away because it's not that hoppy, like as you guys can tell. It's just adding some flavor there for you.
I totally get that. Man, I always associate like with your space fun because a few times I've been for trivia, which I really loved. Cool. And then we had a ladies beer club field trip. We did a micro hike and then we came and hung out. My memory is a little hazy by the time I saw y'all, but everyone had such a great time. We all had flights and everything was, I think everyone finished all their flights, which is always a good sign. Yes. And I've always had a good time when I've come to see y'all. So thanks for being cool.
Absolutely. How did trivia get started with you guys?
I guess we started it pretty early, and we were probably just really copycatting what we saw working for other people, really. Just not just in the area, but just everywhere.
But I feel like yours has really taken off where some people have fizzled.
Yeah, maybe so. I guess we could give credit to Hannah then. Okay. Hannah runs our trivia nights. So she does a really good job like mixing it up like with theme nights and some challenging questions and making sure people don't like hopefully totally fail 0 points, but still provide a little bit of challenge.
What do y'all do when you catch cheaters? Cheaters.
Man, this unfortunately has to be a conversation because
Hey, here's what not to do, folks. Don't go to New Province and cheat.
Yeah, it's no fun, man. Yeah,
no
like everyone's
zone.
just there to chill, right? And so, but some teams are like, yo, they got their phone out,
Yeah.
And we just ended up doing like a docking thing. Like if you got your phone out, you're just gonna get docked points. Like
that's smart. I'd be like, you have to sacrifice one beer.
Yeah, you have to buy everyone in here a beer.
Yeah,
ooh, that's
that
a
would
good
be better.
one.
That's really great for me.
Yeah, I was
and
business-wise.
Everyone.
Yeah.
I love that. That's great. That was a weird laugh. That was like a very
No, that's yeah. I mean, as far as that goes, I mean, you guys have now. You mentioned Hannah, so I mean, she has definitely. When did she join the team?
She was pretty early in 2016. Not the original hire crew, but really close after. When we were like, we need some help in the tap room. So she started out as just a bartender there with us, and kind of grew into our tap room manager.
Absolutely, and she is wonderful.
Yes.
So.
Yeah. I mean, like everyone listening has probably seen her face and knows her way better than you know me, and like as it should be, because a big part of our success is like Hannah running the tap room, Court like elevating our beers, and like just crushing it in the back, right? So I like to give those guys FaceTime like whenever we can, like instead of me, because I'm just a dude, so
that's all right. Hey, that's a great approach to have, man. I really respect that. So that's good.
Yeah.
So now let's go back really quick. I know you had mentioned, you launched that here in Rogers. Obviously, Northwest Arkansas, great place to have a brewery or really any small business. But are you a native to this area or
no? I moved here in 2006 for college, and
you went to the U of A.
Went to the U of A.
Woo pig, I did too.
And graduated, and then I mean, I guess my wife and I, we never left. We talked about maybe moving. My wife really loved it here from really early on, and never wanted to leave.
Yeah.
And it definitely grew on me, and. So I mean, it was 2006, so it's like north of 10 years now. So
that's awesome.
That is awesome.
Yeah, I mean, this is my home at this point for sure.
I originally moved here in 2006 myself.
Cool.
So,
okay. You know what I mean then, yeah.
And there was nothing around here at that point. Like it was nowhere near as exciting as it is today. I mean, there was beautiful stuff around here, but just I feel like it's come such a long ways, not only in the alcohol scene, but also just in tourism and the mountain biking capital of the world. We just trademarked that one, which is awesome.
Tons of awesome restaurants. I mean, it's just a great place to live at this point, and then, now, I mean, I've got my son, so we're raising him here, and, we're just, we're happy.
It's a great family-friendly place.
For sure.
That's for sure.
Are there any like cool goals or things that you are aspiring to be or do that you're able to share? Like, is there something that you're like a milestone that's coming up or anything like that? You want us to celebrate for you?
Not really. Like,
I mean, cheers anything you want.
I mean, next year will be 5 years, which is like crazy to think about, right?
That is.
It like seems like it's like weird because it's like goes fast and slow at the same time.
Yeah.
But 5 years is just crazy to think about, and we've come such a long way. Our first year we did, I don't know, like 200-300 barrels, I think it was, like just like really low amounts of volume. Comparatively, and now we're last year we did like 1,400, so it's awesome. And
how many pints is that, do you think?
Oh gosh, roughly? I could do the math, but I don't have my phone on me, so
that's all right. I don't have mine either. So
I don't do math. I just see colors.
How many pints in a barrel do you know?
In like a 6 barrel, it's like 40-ish. Okay. So like 40 times 6, whatever. It's a lot.
Tons.
Well, next time we'll have a measuring unit thing on here that helps us all, because I'm in my head, I'm like, I can't see this.
Just have an overlay that's just
it's like visual.
Done.
It's like the amount of beer is the size of 4 blue whales. Like what? That's awesome.
But I mean, we're just continuing to try to like make good beers, improve our beers, and just keep on like trying to like innovate and with new beers and just make beers that you guys want to drink. So.
Now, how did you end up? You mentioned you went to U of A. So how did you end up choosing Rogers as home base for New Providence? I mean, you mentioned obviously Benton County going wet and everything like that. But how did you settle on that?
I guess not purposefully. We had actually gotten pretty close on a space that we were looking at in Bentonville.
Okay,
and that kind of fell through. But we already had our tanks like on the way, and so like we needed somewhere to put these things. Yeah, and so we were just at this point we were just kind of driving around and trying to find something, right? Yeah. Wow. And we found this lot that is where the brewery is now, and didn't have anything on it, but was going to be developed soon, and so we got in contact with the developer and to see if they would be open to the idea.
Yeah.
And the other thing is like we were trying to find a space that like kind of like had decent like road traffic for the tap room, because the tap room is a big focus for sure, and but also had the space that we needed for the price that we needed.
Yeah.
And so it's kind of like this good hybrid space for us because
good visibility there.
Yeah, for sure. It's a busy road, and so that's what we landed on, and it didn't finish in time for the tanks. So luckily, our neighbors next door, there's this huge, like, I don't know, 70,000 square foot warehouse next door or something. But he let us put our tanks in his place because he had like tons of spare room.
That's so nice.
Yeah, and so we had our tanks just sitting there for months, like in his space, and like I'm so grateful because we didn't know what we were gonna do.
What was his name? Shout out to you, man.
Man, I actually don't remember. He's not there anymore. His company isn't there anymore. But
it's okay. He knows he's watching. Yeah. He knows he's special.
Yeah, it was crazy.
Well, and I feel like that's something that Northwest Arkansas is really good about, is being neighborly, and just there's not always an expectation. Obviously, sometimes people would need compensation for taking up space, but I feel like a lot of companies and groups around here are like, hey, no, we got room back here, throw it back.
You need a cup of sugar? Come on.
Yeah, exactly. We keep going. Cup of sugar, like you said in the first.
Some more, please.
Why not?
That's awesome. What's our next beer? This is
next
delicious.
Beer,
but
we're gonna do.
You're excited, aren't you?
Ready for
Does
this.
this go far enough? I might have to take this one.
I think we'll have to take off.
Okay.
We don't have much slack line there. That should be a new challenge. Try to grab beers with it. Staying on.
How far can you reach without tripping? All right.
Next beer is another one of our year-round. So Spacesuit, by the way, is a year-round beer for us.
Okay, all right.
Good to know.
But our next beer is Philosopher King.
Woo-woo.
Philosopher King.
A lot of y'all know about some Philosopher King.
Yes.
This is our IPA.
Not gonna lie, that's definitely one of my favorites that you guys make.
Thank you very much.
So
I also love the can, and I'm excited to hear about why y'all named it that.
Yeah, so Philosopher King, originally we just called it Philosopher. But we were a little worried about some potential trademark issues.
Okay.
If we were to move forward with that. So we had the idea of doing Philosopher King because at the time we already had Fallen Queen in cans. So kind of went with the theme there.
Thank you.
And so that's where the name's all about. But really, I mean, this beer's changed a little bit since we originally brewed it. Mostly just because one of the key hops that we used in it from the beginning, many will remember, was Galaxy.
Okay.
Galaxy has since exploded in popularity.
Meaning that it is now priced.
It is now very expensive and difficult to get. So we made the switch to another Australian hop, Vic Secret, which
called
is
Big Secret. Or you're not telling us things?
Secret.
Oh,
like Victoria.
Oh,
except Vic.
Vic Secret.
Yeah, I thought you were gonna keep information from us.
No,
that smells wonderful.
It does smell good.
Thank you. Yeah. So yeah, Vic Secret is a really good substitute for Galaxy.
Okay.
I mean, I think other than that, the beer hasn't changed a whole lot in terms of how we brew it.
Yeah. Is this one of your most popular ones, you said?
Yeah, this is definitely overall our number one seller.
Cool.
Yeah, when you take into account, out in the market and then in the tap room. The tap room varies. Usually the tap room will be something like one of our new seasonals or like Queen or something like that, something lighter.
Yeah, I feel like I always want to try what's new when I go to a tap room.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
But yeah, you'll notice like a lot of I get a lot of mango like right up front. Mango, pineapple.
I was gonna say pineapple a while ago because
tropical fruit. Yeah. So it's a really like fruit forward IPA. Other hop we use in it is Mosaic.
Okay.
So a lot of citrus and fruity flavors as well.
Now, are either of those like dry hopped in there, or is it just Okay, all right.
Very heavily. So a lot of the whole focus of this beer from the very beginning was to just like make a big emphasis on flavor. Like, we've got that backbone of bitterness there. It says 70 IBUs, but you probably couldn't tell that it was.
I can't tell 70. No.
Yeah.
No, because it is very punchy, but it's not. overwhelming, like, oh, that's too much bitter.
Yeah, exactly. So like our goal from the beginning was to make this beer like super flavor forward.
Yeah.
Which I mean, at the time, I don't want to say it was like unheard of at all, but like I feel like we were at the tail end of like, how bitter can we make this beer?
Okay.
You know what I mean? And like that was not what we wanted to do. So
yeah. Would you say this is one of your most bitter beers?
Yeah, I mean, outside of like our double IPAs that we do that are, you know, a little bit more bitter.
Okay.
But yeah.
That's nice. No, I love the flavor, and again, this one's just got a little haze to it for any of you guys watching. I mean,
yeah,
it's got a little haze to it, but it's still, I mean, it's beautiful.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah.
Yeah. Thank you.
Cheers. We haven't cheers at all. What is happening?
Yeah, we haven't cheers. Hey, you know, I feel like just given the space we're in at this moment, and obviously something that's ongoing regardless of what time, is cheers to our healthcare workers out there looking out for everybody and making sure. Yeah. So, yeah, cheers to that.
I like that. Cheers to y'all. Yum.
So, designing this tap room, you've got some amazing stuff. I mean, we love the space. We've talked about that. You can go in, you can actually see the tanks through the giant windows in there.
Yep.
You have a great patio space. Who designed your space? Was that you, or did you have an architect kind of help you draw?
I did have an architect that helped me like lay it out and kind of figure all that out. But you know, there was things that I definitely wanted to have, like the windows looking into the tap room. I thought that was important for people to be able to see where the beer's made.
Yeah.
And if you go in at the right time, you know, you'll see us back there, brewing a batch or canning a batch or something.
Or doing a dance.
Yeah, we might be dancing.
Yeah.
Never know. And then like, you know, making sure we have windows in the tap room and those kinds of things. But they help me like lay out the space in terms of like, you know, where do the bathrooms go and like make sure it flows right and all that good stuff. And
also, I'm trying to remember that plot of land. Like, 'cause when I go there, I'm just like tunnel vision on your space. But would y'all ever expand around that, or maybe because y'all have a cool patio space? But I assume with popularity that you'll grow more and more. So have you thought about changing up that space? Yeah,
I've definitely thought about particularly the patio, like wrapping it around the front, because we have a huge like green space in the front that unfortunately like we can't really use just due to permitting issues. But if we were to expand that patio, permit it, like it'd be a pretty sweet little spot.
And I feel like especially here in Northwest Arkansas, we've got a lot of breweries that are starting to realize that, oh wow, we can really embrace that outdoor space more, and people will show up regardless, even if it's 100 degrees outside.
They will.
People still enjoy it. And so
I just need an umbrella. And if there's a patio, that is where I go. Like,
throw some fans out.
Exactly.
Call it good.
Put a puppy out there. I'm good.
Yeah.
Y'all are puppy friendly outside.
We are very puppy friendly.
Did y'all hear that, people?
Very.
Woof, woof.
We love dogs.
Doggos are welcome.
Yes. Make sure your dog's leashed and well behaved, and we're
good. If your dog sucks, stay home.
You'll probably be greeted with a treat upon entry if you bring your dog in. So
I get a treat.
For me or the dog?
I was like, what kind of treat do I get?
Well, hey, that is fantastic. I think we're going to go ahead and hear a word from our sponsors. And when we come back, let's talk in a little bit about, you mentioned Court. He is your master brewer, right? Yep. So we'll talk about that. Cool. And I am excited to learn more about your can art, too.
Sure.
This is beautiful. So we will go ahead, jump out here. Thanks again so much for listening to Beyond the Tap. And we'll see you soon. Hey everyone, welcome back. It's another segment of Sip of the Show here with Devil's River Whiskey. Andy, we've been making some great drinks so far. What do you have for us today?
Today we're going to do a really simple Vodka Collards.
All right.
Essentially,
simple's good, right?
Simple's good, yeah. It's something you can make at the house. Doesn't have to be complicated. And you know, it's a substitution. All the ones that you see that are out in the bars, the trendy drinks with regards to, like, say, a mule. There's a lot of sugar and stuff in that. So if you're the type of person that's kind of paying attention to that kind of thing that you put in your drinks, this is a good way to go. Super refreshing, really easy to make. Type of vodka you use, completely up to you. It doesn't really matter. I prefer using domestic vodkas, but there are some really good European vodkas out there. You're going to go into a Collins glass, or like I've said previously, if you don't have a Collins glass at the house, I bet you've got a 12-ounce juice glass. Just use that. It's fine. Whatever glass is good for you to drink in. I say 12 ounces because once you get everything in the glass, if you've got like a 24-ounce glass, you're going to end up with a really watered-down drink. Try to keep the size of the glass kind of small because you want to be able to taste the things you're putting in it. But you're going to get 2 ounces of vodka into your glass, straight into the glass that you're using. You're going to use 1 ounce of fresh lemon juice. And yes, it matters. When you're talking about citrus juices, a lot of people are like, well, there's this lime cordial. No, it's not the same thing. Not that you can't make a drink with that. If you've got a bottle of Rose's lime at the house and you're making a margarita, give it a shot. But understand it's going to be a lot sweeter. There's going to be a lot more sugar content in it. And if you want a really bright, refreshing cocktail, you're going to want to use fresh juice. So 1 ounce of lemon juice into the same glass with your vodka. Then we're going to do a 1/2 ounce of simple syrup. You can make this at the house. You can buy it. There's not a big science to it. If you're going to make it at the house, use equal parts granulated sugar and hot water. If you want to get real nerdy, you do it by weight. You can find me on social media, DM me, I'll tell you the details. But generally speaking, take a vessel, fill it up halfway with sugar, fill it up the rest of the way with hot water, put a lid on it, give it a shake. I'm using a pint mason jar. It's a great opportunity. Or if you just want to make it in the pot, put water in a pot, set it to boil. As soon as it gets a good rolling boil, turn the heat down just a little bit, add your sugar, and stir it consistently until the sugar is completely dissolved. Pour it off into something else and let it cool to room temperature before you put it in the refrigerator. If you put it in the fridge too fast, the sugar will crystallize and it'll break. So 1/2 ounce going into the glass with your vodka and lemon juice. And then at this point, I would give it a quick stir just to incorporate that relatively well. Then you're going to top that all off with ice. As much ice as you can pack in the glass, the better. It's going to decrease temperature and dilution. If you've got room for air, it's going to dilute faster. The ice will melt faster. Then you're going to top this off with soda water. I've got this fancy soda siphon. You can pick this up at Williams-Sonoma for $100, $150. But you can also just use soda. I mean, we've got some really great domestic soda water that's made here in state. You can pick up any bottle of Topo Chico, pick some soda water. It doesn't matter, something with bubbles. Fill your glass up to the top. And then for a garnish, lemon wedge, lemon peel. Some people like to throw a cherry in it as well. Whatever floats your boat. This is your drink. Drink it the way you enjoy it. That's a pretty simple Vodka Collards. Cheers.
All right, so if you like what you're hearing here on Beyond the Tap, make sure and head over to YouTube and subscribe to us. Hit that little bell so you make sure and get the notifications every single time that we post a new episode here. It's really nice, right? What are you doing back here? And also, make sure and check us out on Apple iTunes podcast section. Subscribe to us there. And do you know we're also on Spotify?
Yes.
There's nothing in there yet, but that's okay. So check us out. If you really, really like what you're hearing here, then you want to head over to patreon.com and you can actually contribute to the show and making this the awesome success that it clearly already is. And throw a few bucks at us. You can earn some cool perks along the way. Visit patreon.com/beyondthetap today to check out more.
And to some of my friends who, bucks may not come so quickly to you, feel free to subscribe to us. That's important to us as well. Or review us. Give us 5 stars. You think we're 5 stars? I think we're 5 stars.
I think so.
And that's just as important. So follow us. Stay tuned. There's a lot coming your way.
True story. See you next time on Beyond the Tap.
Beers.
Lots and lots of tasty beers.
Excited to be back. I'm ready to party.
Yeah,
Derek, are you ready to party?
I'm ready. I'm gonna get a drink.
Here we go.
Yeah.
Go
so we're coming back in here. We are in part 2 of our episode with New Province Brewing here in Rogers, Arkansas.
Yum.
We got Derek McEnroe, owner, founder, total badass,
Chief party
of beer.
person. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And Derek, man, thanks again for being with us.
Yeah, no problem.
Yeah, and sharing.
We
Thank
absolutely appreciate this. So coming back in, what are we drinking now?
Yeah, we got something we just released a couple of weeks ago. This is New Reality, and it is a barrel fermented brown ale.
It's a sexy can.
Yeah.
Holy smokes. Yeah, that is delicious. So if you're a fan of brown ales, mix that with that barrel aged. Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
How long do you guys age this in the barrel?
So I mean, this one's a little different because most of our barrel aged beers, people know, like Café Muy Special or Veritas, our Belgian Quad. Those were aging for a year basically.
Yeah,
10 to 12 months, something
really?
like that.
Okay.
Dang.
But this one is different because it wasn't really focused on the aging aspect of it, more the fermentation aspect. So this is the first beer we've ever fermented in barrels. Normally we ferment in a big stainless steel tank.
Okay.
In a very controlled environment, and this one we put into some barrels that we had recently emptied. And just kind of let it do its thing.
It's awesome.
Nice.
Yeah. So
It's so
what kind of
tasty.
barrels, if you don't mind my asking?
these were mostly everything that's in this can was a bourbon barrel.
Okay.
But you're not going to get like a ton of bourbon notes because this barrel has been used, like twice now. So
You can still get a little bit of it, but
And a
mostly
little bit of
because I
that.
love tasting bourbon anyway,
Yeah.
so I feel like
You're going to find it.
pick up on that.
And and then there's like the nice little oakiness to it, not like nothing crazy, just a light oakiness, super chocolatey up front, kind of like some toasted bread. But just a really nice like kind of complex little beer.
It's delicious. What would you pair it with? Like I feel like this beer also seems like year round. Like this is something I would definitely be going towards in the fall.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. Written honestly, we were probably going to lean towards a later release for this, but with everything going on right now, we kind of pushed it up.
Yeah.
So we weren't going to age it in barrels anymore. The whole goal was to get it out of barrels after about 2 months.
Okay.
You don't want it sitting on yeast for extended periods of time.
Why is that?
Yeah.
Well, you're going to have autolysis, which is the yeast is going to die, basically, and start
Just runs out of food?
Yeah, and just start producing some really bad off flavors. So really, you don't want beer to sit on yeast for extended periods of time. Like in a an environment, a stainless environment, you're going to be able to dump that yeast off the bottom when you're done. So even if you're like lagering beer or keeping beer in stainless for an extended period of time, you can really get rid of that yeast.
Yeah, because everything pours out from the bottom.
Yeah. But in a barrel, it's just going to sit there.
Okay.
And so this beer had a lot of yeast in it because we were doing
yeast
primarily
strains.
Yeast strains.
Yes, it's
I know it's
Yeah. Yeah.
and
Not G strings. We're good.
yeah, yeast.
And so it needs to get out of there basically, So we were planning on getting it out of there and letting it sit probably in kegs really for an extended period of time before releasing it later in the fall. When maybe a little bit more appropriate of a beverage, but it's still pretty tasty right now.
It's comforting.
For sure.
Like some beers are comforting, and like I said, this seems like this would be fun to pair with different foods.
For sure.
Yeah, not gonna lie, I probably wouldn't drink this one around a pool, but after coming home from the pool and
AC
enjoying it
turned up.
exactly.
Oh my God,
when you're chilling in the living room,
you got
maybe
that
watching
fresh
some TV.
sunburn. You're just a
Exactly.
little toasty.
Yeah,
And you're like,
let's get a little more toasty.
You're like,
Why
let's
not?
pair this with a nice cheese. Fromage blanc. I don't know. I'm just guessing.
So actually, it's funny you say that. I was going to ask, what would you say for our listeners out there? What do you think this brown ale would pair with, as far as in your? Did you have a goal of like, hey, this would really go great with a burger or
Bananas? No, I'm just kidding.
Bananas, yes, absolutely. A fine banana.
Not when we were making it particularly, but I think it'd go awesome with chocolate if you wanted to go down like a sweeter route. But if you wanted to go down like a savory route, I think like something like smoked foods would be really good. Like a smoked
I would dip bacon in that.
or like ribs, I was going to say would be pretty awesome.
There's a
we're
super
hungry.
smoked, not smoked, super sharp white cheddar from, do I say it? Yeah, Cabot. Why not? Cabot cheese.
Yeah.
Hey, what's up? You know how to do this.
Sweet Freedom probably has it.
Yeah.
I
We need
love
to get
them.
them hooked
They've
up
got
here.
it all.
We should have a Sweet Freedom cheese party.
Absolutely.
But no, this is delicious, and thank you for sharing.
Yeah, you bet.
I wanted to take us down a rabbit hole.
Yeah. Oh, here we go.
Ding, 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 ding,
Bongos
ding,
on a
ding. I just make
roll.
my own music. I like to hear. Okay, so our listeners like all into the beer, the stories, the history, but we also want I want to know you better. Well, I want to know, like, is there any funny moments with your team? Something embarrassing? You're like, oh shit, Derek, why did you do that? And you're like, I didn't mean to. And then you have to tell the whole world about it.
Take us through your brewing ventures.
Yeah.
There are plenty of those for sure. But the one that happened first was literally on the first brew of Migrant that I was telling you guys about earlier, our Belgian double.
Okay.
Man, we were near the end of the brew, like home stretch. Like this was like the second brew that I had brewed on our new system. And we were whirlpooling the beer, right? So the way we do that is on this manifold, we have this stainless steel connector piece that goes from one point to another point and circulates the beer through. Okay. So that was all going on, right? Yeah. We were just finishing the whirlpool, so I was gonna move that stainless piece to another port to start moving the beer, which is
I think
normally fine, right? No issues here. But instead of unhooking the connector piece, right, that just does that, I did the one behind it.
Oh,
so you took it straight off from the tank?
I took it off completely, and so at that point, beer is just spewing out of the.
It's gotta be launching like 4 feet, 5 feet.
I just imagine you like trying to hold it in.
I mean, well, the problem with that is it's like 200 degrees.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
Because it's in the kettle, right? Ooh. So it's hot.
So were you burned?
So what happened? I mean, it was spewing everywhere. I was like, I was trying to figure out what the hell am I gonna do here, right?
Yeah.
And it was still cold outside because it was like February or something, right? And so I had my jacket laying around somewhere. So I went and put my jacket on just to kind of try to like protect myself a little bit. And then I was able to actually get that piece back on without killing myself.
So what kind of jacket was it? Was it a Patagucci?
It was just like a track jacket or something. It wasn't nothing crazy.
I would say we were going to try to get you a sponsor. I think it was a Patagucci jacket.
Yeah, true story.
Patagonia.
So,
hello.
End of the day, I lost like half of the batch of beer.
Okay. He saved
all
it.
over the floor.
He saved some of it.
Yeah. So
batch half full.
Was the other half drinkable?
It was very good. Yes.
Good.
And I'm sure there will be lots of people out there that are like, bring Migrant back.
Yeah, but, we'll start it now. Bring it back.
Yeah.
Make a move on petition or something.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Bring this beer back, please. Yeah.
No, that's funny. So you very quickly learned where not to disconnect
yes,
from.
Yeah, really bad.
Would you say that there has been a kind of an accidental great find or an accidental great happening to you that's like, holy smokes, this works, I can do this process differently.
I accidentally added this peanut butter to it and it's delicious.
Yeah, I mean, I guess I would be remiss to not mention Pamber as part of our history.
Okay.
So
is that a person?
No, it's really just our pale ale that later known as Civilian.
Okay.
Okay. Yeah.
Okay.
That also is no longer with us, but but the first time I brewed that beer, it just kind of it didn't come out quite right in terms of like what we were aiming for. We had a really bad stuck mash, and the lauter took just like, I don't know, like 4 hours or something crazy. It was just really bad. Like the process wise didn't go right. Maybe needed some tweaks to the recipe as well to like hit our target, but it just kind of ended up being like way maltier and a little bit sweeter than we wanted it to be.
Okay.
And so we ended up calling it Pamber because I didn't really want it to be like a representation of what I wanted Civilian to be. So ended up naming it Pamber, which was just like this
pale
like
amber?
Hybrid of pale amber, because that's kind of like what I felt.
Sounds like a cool chick you work with in your office, like Pamber. She was neat. Pamber would start drinking it too.
It's a very millennial name. I'm just saying.
I'm gonna name my next animal Pamber.
Yeah.
Pamber, come here.
Pamber. Here, girl. Come on, Pamber. Let's roll.
But it just ended up being like so many people loved it.
Yeah.
And it was just like, man, this is not the beer I wanted to make.
Bring back Pamber.
So it's like,
but it was a great accidental find, right?
Yeah, so people liked it.
Hashtag save Pamber.
It wasn't by any means a bad beer, but it was.
We're bringing it back.
Not what we wanted. Yeah.
Just a little bit of demand goes a long way, y'all. Just for $2, you too can save Pamber.
In the arms of an angel.
Pampa lays there on the kitchen floor. No, I don't know.
All right. So,
all right, next beer.
Yeah. So really quick. Yeah. So let's go ahead and we'll head into the next beer.
Yeah.
As you get ready to tell us about the can art, because I'm telling you what, the can art on this is, you guys have some really cool designs.
Yeah, you do.
That we don't see at a lot of different places. I think
frame them.
I think the only thing that I can reasonably compare to you guys is like Prairie Artisan Ales.
Okay.
I know
that's a
they have
cool
some
one
really cool labels,
Yeah.
but you guys, I feel like when I pick up one of your cans,
You feel
Derek,
cool.
I love your cans. I'm just saying. Really,
Hello.
like I know that it's your beer when I pick it up, which is really cool.
Cool. Yeah. That's good. That's
yeah.
good.
Yeah, I feel confidence when I bring a sexy beer into a party or a gathering. Because when you see a nice can design, you're like immediately like, what is that? You know,
Yeah.
it's like a nice little focal point. It's like a coffee table book, but
Well,
better.
it really is, yeah.
Yeah.
I feel like your designs easily could be on a display.
Yeah, or framed. I just want to frame them.
Well, thanks. So our first two, Queen and King, they're in the middle up there. Were both designed by Black Box Labs.
Okay.
Here
Oh, I
locally.
know them. Yeah.
So they've done a bunch of work for some local breweries and other local businesses.
Yeah.
They do a really good job.
Great
Nice.
folks there.
So that's where we started.
So did you go to them and be like, hey, here's the vision, and they just said, okay, we'll make it a reality? Or did you have a lot of rounds with it?
So, I mean, it was really like, my original goal was like, hey, I want this to be like an art piece, basically. Like, I want, like, I don't want the branding to be like in your face. Like, I want it to just like be this really awesome image that is representing the beer. And, I think we accomplished that for sure.
Definitely.
They're
I
very
think so too.
recognizable in the market.
Yeah, like I say, when I'm in my favorite stores here, I can definitely walk past, no joke, and I'm not just saying this because you're here, but like I can literally walk past the beer display and recognize, oh, that's a New Province brew.
Yes,
because
cool.
of the can, and like I love that because it's easily discernible.
Yeah, and I think like now, like it's definitely in that spot. I think like in hindsight, thinking about it, like I think we should have put our brand a little bit more forward, just because we are so new, and we wanted people to know who we are, right? Like
I just took the sticker. You
Wait,
can't
just,
see
like,
me,
hold it up.
and I held it up. Y'all's
the brand.
branding's pretty sweet too,
Well,
but I
what's
totally
that,
get
like-
what you're saying. Like
that little that badge logo was really
this is nice.
first developed on this can.
Yeah.
Okay,
Was where it even started. But so like now it's awesome because people know who we are, and they're like, oh, cool, like that's New
Yeah.
Province.
Yeah.
Honestly, I feel like it's a bigger deal if someone knows you by taste and also by like cool can, and they don't just have to have your logo to know you. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Like,
that's what
I feel like
was
that's
hoping. For
pretty
sure.
cool. Commendable.
Absolutely.
And so like since then though, like we've branched out like quite a bit, obviously, and try to be a little bit more out there with some of our designs, and sometimes we like to keep it simple, like Commoner, for instance. Like I feel like it makes a lot of sense for that beer to
Beautiful beer.
have just a really nice simple label. Like it's Commoner, it's simple, it's just like an amber cream ale that's like calling back to, a beer that, a beer style that,
I just feel like I want to look at that and then design a kitchen around it.
Yeah. No,
Like,
really. I mean,
That's how these cans make me feel. But what about?
Yeah, what are we heading to?
yeah, okay.
Because
Sorry.
that's simple too and beautiful.
is-
This is just a nice simple one.
And
This
it
is
smells good.
So this is our bourbon barrel aged apple pie sour ale, which the base of this beer was, part of our Wild Dreams and Things series, which is
What's that?
it's a beer series that's there. So they're all sour ales, but they're all kind of based on these like desserty kind of like sweet treat kind of concepts.
Yeah.
So that what they all have in
It's
common
sweet and yummy.
is they have fruit in them, vanilla, and lactose.
And like, it's tart. It's kind of tart to me.
they're
Am I
all-
picking
It's still
up on
smooth.
They're all
Yeah.
tart.
It's delicious. It makes me want to have dessert.
Yeah. And this particular version, of course, was aged in bourbon barrels.
That's why Brian likes it so much.
Yeah.
It
His
is.
bourbon radar went off as soon as
I'm
he smelled
telling
it.
you,
I
like-
saw his beard start to do a little.
I mean, can you name the maker of
I cannot.
said?
It was
said
Charles Bombschwab.
This was actually these were makers.
That's who it was.
Yeah. These are Maker's Mark private select barrels.
Oh, hello.
Okay.
So they're pretty
Hello.
cool.
We like that.
So this was just, well, I guess it was just one barrel. So this was just a single barrel, little small batch.
What's the percentage
variant.
on this? I feel
It's
like
only 6.3. It's only 6.3.
Really?
Oh, that's gonna be good for me.
Yeah, you don't have to worry about it. Yeah, but
No, I
It's
mean,
delicious.
it truly does. You know, you mentioned apple pie, and it tastes like that
And it smells like that.
if you were in a beer.
yeah,
Like-
yeah. I mean, we added a little bit of like cinnamon in it as well
Yeah.
to kind of get that spice.
I would almost wonder what this would taste like with a almost like the red hot cinnamon.
Oh,
Just that
dang.
little bit of a sweet
I
cinnamon.
hope it
to
wouldn't get too
Yeah.
close to our brother Fireball.
Well, yeah, no,
That's all
I wouldn't. I
think
wouldn't
about.
want it like that.
Our brother.
No.
We're related to him.
Yeah, he is in the flask.
Yeah.
Why not? But no,
yeah.
this is delicious. And I'm actually getting into sours a little bit more too
Cool.
recently. Kind of been
Yeah.
opening up into that world, and so how long does it take to make this beer?
Well, so the sours in general are a whole nother beast, right? Because all the sours that we do right now are kettle sours.
Okay.
So what that means is after we've brewed the beer, we've mashed in the beer, we've got all the wort in the kettle, we want to sour it in the kettle so that we can then boil it off later, kill all the bacteria, and we don't have to worry about any infection in the brewery.
Okay.
So it's a really nice, safe way to do it, although it is time consuming. So it takes, basically once we have it in the kettle, we boil it first for just a few minutes like we traditionally would do, although for not as long. And then we will chill it back down to a temperature that's suitable for the bacteria, in this case, lactobacillus. So we'll pitch that.
What'd you call me?
So like the lacto will get in there and start doing its thing, and it operates at a pretty warm temperature.
Sounds like an evil
It kinda-
dinosaur.
yeah, I mean-
the lactobacillus came around the corner.
The lactobacillus in its natural environment,
Is
it's
yeast?
a predator.
It likes yeast strings.
It likes to feast upon yeast strains.
It wears a yeast string.
So no, that's really good. I love that.
So at that point, it'll take like 36 hours basically to get it to the sour level.
Okay.
At that point.
Okay.
And then once that's done, we'll boil it like normal and treat it like a normal beer.
Okay.
And we'll have this,
Deliciousness.
yeah, this.
And then the
deliciousness.
aging process, you mentioned barrels.
So
what's for this one?
This particular one we did, age a little longer. This was a 6-month age.
Okay. All right.
But this barrel in particular was pretty fresh, in good shape. So,
and you just store those in your in your brewery
just
there?
in the brewery, yeah, just at room temperature, which right now is about 90 degrees. So
Okay.
Yeah.
yeah.
Sounds awesome.
But this is part of our Wild Dreams and Things series, like I was talking
Yeah.
about, and the one that we just most recently came out with was the Orange Creamsicle.
Okay.
I'm excited about this Wild
yeah.
Dreams and Things.
We've
I just
got
love
to
the
try
name.
that one out, right?
Yeah,
Yeah,
so
will you please.
I'll grab that here in a second.
No, I smell.
But,
Creamsicle.
I did want to mention, just like in general, like sours, right? Like you
Yeah.
said, you're just now getting into them. Like the market here, it's definitely like a little bit behind in terms
Yeah.
of like
Yeah.
other markets.
I
Like
don't feel like there's a lot in our
Like
SoCal.
SoCal.
definitely
Yeah,
not.
SoCal's
Yeah.
got quite a few sours out there.
Yeah.
But
yeah, so sours are huge, right? Overall, great entry level beers too. By the way, like a
I
lot
agree.
of people like
Like that
turn on to
sweetness.
sours like strangely, right? Because like for a lot of people, it was the opposite. Like we're drinking IPAs and stuff, and it takes us a minute to get to like, okay, we're cool with sours. But
that's my story.
now people, it's like that's their first beer they get turned on to as a sour.
Yeah.
Okay.
But yeah, we're one of the few breweries that I believe has a sour on basically year round. So
Okay.
we always have a sour on. Not always part of the Wild Dreams and Things series. Like for instance, right now we have Zwinger on, which is our Goza, which is like a 4.5% salted sour, basically,
Okay.
German style. So yeah, we love that beer in the summer. It's just the perfect lake beer.
Yeah, wait, so how many of your Wild Dreams and Things do you have, like, if we went to the tap room now?
Well, right
Do
now
you try to have, like, two?
normally it's just one, but actually, if you go right now, you'll have two because.
Yes.
So yeah, we've got Orange Creamsicle, and we also have strawberry milkshake on right now.
What?
Well. Yeah,
that sounds delicious.
Which strawberry milkshake was the beer we brewed for our 3rd anniversary for the first time.
Okay,
we brought it back. So
what are you going to be brewing for your 5th anniversary?
That's a good question. Yeah, I don't. We haven't. I don't think
Pamber.
Really no,
more
not
Pamber.
Pamber.
No. Pamber back.
Not Pamber.
Bringing it back.
Bringing it back.
No,
we try to do something different every year for anniversary, though. So
this could be new Pamber. Pamber with a haircut.
New, yeah.
Pamber got a haircut.
So many options.
Yeah, I love this so much. I feel like this would be fun to bring to dinner parties too. Yeah. And I like the bottle. Is there a reason why it's in a bottle and not a can?
Yes.
So all of us newbies.
Yeah, I mean, so like.
Yeah, if you can't see this, what's the ounces on that?
Oh, yeah. It's 500 milliliters.
Okay.
So this is a 500 milliliter bottle.
Looking at you, the rest of the world, to help us out in the comments section below.
I mean, this beer. So mostly what we do is we're canning on a wild goose. So we're canning, 15, 30 barrels of beer at a time, right? I'll
assume you are.
Yeah, I mean,
wait, is that a wild goose? 30.
Goose?
Wait, what's that mean?
We finally got geese.
That's our canning machine.
That's your. I was thinking. Yes. I'm like, okay, is this equivalent? Is this what they call it? Like 30 gallons is a bird. They say that's a wild goose.
Yeah. Wild goose. Over here is a frumpy eagle.
Yeah. Okay, so it's the machine you're using, and you're making it into that.
So you can't really can like small volumes on this thing, right? It doesn't. Okay. It just doesn't make sense. So when we have a small volume like this, it's either going to basically be in kegs only, or it's going to be in bottles. So, for instance, this beer we only did like 150 bottles were released to the public. So a super small batch.
Really?
Yeah. Can you only get it at the tap room?
Yeah, only the tap. Well, actually, I take that back. Normally, yes, but this particular one is also going to be available at Sodi's for a little bit.
Okay, dope.
Which is in Fort Smith, by the way.
But. No, never mind.
So you're not going there. But yeah, so we have a handful of these bottles left, but they're almost gone. But so small batch stuff like this, we're like doing more of, especially like right now, when we're just trying to like put out some new beers for people that are, maybe wanting to drink at home.
Yeah, that's
for some reason.
Yeah, with friends.
Are you
and my dog?
Exactly. You're not drinking alone if your dog's there. So
it's my god dog.
Well, that's fair enough. Yeah. I feel like that's still a friend. Yeah, so why not? So, man, that's awesome. So we got what, like 2 beers left? Is that right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Let me grab the Orange Creamsicle. We'll do that one next.
I have heard wonders about this. By the way, so our producer
and it's the cutest can.
Well, I say our producer. Zach has had this.
Yeah.
Joel, have you had this one? No. You want to? You can have some of this.
Joel, you want some of this?
So,
Joel's like,
you want to have some of this? Why not?
The can is so great. Who made the can?
Hey, Bongo, can you hit that?
I guess I did. Oh, sorry.
Oh, it's okay.
Yeah. I guess I laid it out.
You did. This is beautiful.
Just simple. I've been digging the patterns and stuff like that. Just
I'll go hold that up for Ramy. You want to get? It
looks clean.
I love it. It's got this really cool like retro summer feel to it.
I want to put this print on everything. Yeah, that sounds weird.
Yeah,
can we get a shirt with this, please?
Yes, or like a like
a tank top. Yeah,
that or like a men's swimming short.
Actually, that would make a really cool short. So.
You would sell it hard. If you need someone to give you some clothing, TC Screen Printing. That guy Tyler knows what's up.
We're talking to Tyler right now, as a matter of fact.
Good.
We love Tyler. Tyler, we love you.
Make that into a polo shirt. I'll buy one. Yeah, no joke.
Yeah.
That actually, or what's the island right there?
Island Bound. Yep.
Yes. Yeah, that I would totally buy a polo of that.
That'd be kind of cool if you became the brewery that had a clothing line
like associated
with each beer.
Yeah. Truth.
All right, I want 10% of that idea. Huh? Really? No, just kidding. All right, I'm excited. We're gonna try this.
Grab me a glass here.
Yeah,
grab me 2 actually.
Let me give you some clean ones. Hold on.
So let's talk really quick. I know we're getting ready to taste this one. Orange Creamsicle. Where was the? I can guess where the inspiration for this one came from, but like, what was? When did this idea come up? Is this the first year you've brewed this one?
This is the second year we've done it. But. Yeah, I mean, so the Wild Dreams and Things series kind of gives us like a construct of like, okay, what are we kind of trying to go for? We want something that's like a sweet treat, a dessert kind of direction, and so then we try to base it on the season. Like what do we want to drink right now? What kind of like food inspiration can we think of? for this season. And
that's so good.
Court had brewed a similar beer, I guess, that was not sour.
Okay.
At Fossil Cove. I guess we could talk more about Court here in a minute
Yeah.
too. That went over well, and so I think we kind of took this like cool summer popsicle like idea and just went sour with it, and it's really cool how the sourness kind of just like
it totally transitions into
it a little bit.
It transitions into that sweet vanilla kind of taste that you would if you were eating that popsicle. And oftentimes that's what I want in a beer. And you want to hope that
smooth finish.
Exactly. You want it to like do, but it literally goes from one taste and then transitions, and the finish is sweet and laid back. And this is so good.
Thanks. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like the way we accomplish it. So last year we actually did all like just like orange puree basically as the fruit base. But this year we kind of cut the fruit in half.
Okay.
And then we did orange peel for kind of to replace that other half to give it kind of a little more of like a fresh pop.
Yeah.
And I think it did really well. We also increased like the amount of vanilla we're putting in it, so it really kind of hits the creamsicle note. I think better this year. So it turned out really really awesome.
Yeah. Well, no, that's great. And whenever I smell this, now here's the interesting thing. I don't know, Bongo, if you're picking up on this or not. When I smell it, I'm not smelling what I'm tasting, which is really interesting because usually it smells exactly the same, or at least gives you a lot of those kind of those hints.
It's like a different kind of orange.
Yeah, it's like this totally different
it's just
orange.
like a rind, like what you would smell if you grabbed a rind and you smelled it.
Yeah, it's like if you smelled one straight, like if you just went to the store and just picked up an orange and you smell it,
to your nose.
you smell that. But then there's that internal flavor from this.
Yeah.
So I would assume is like what was the reasoning behind you mentioned cutting half and kind of rolling into that different.
Well, it was I think that we wanted to make sure that the
Bongo, you look like you're under a waterfall.
I am so happy. I know that sounds weird. I don't think I've had this I have not had this reaction to a beer yet.
No, this is good.
And I am like, Derek, like seriously, I'm so delighted.
You've had this twice now, by the way, in this episode. I noticed a while ago what was the
no, I did. I had the
commoner.
Commoner. I had the Commoner.
Well, a while ago, you just had this like Pantene commercial moment.
I just happen to have a lot of hair, so everything's a Pantene commercial for me. Hello, sponsor me. Oop. But no, I think it's so funny. My expectations always set kind of high.
Yeah.
And rarely when I drink a beer does it meet it, right?
Yeah.
And so now I've had two beers that when I tasted it, it was exactly what I thought in my head. Which I thought was cool.
I've noticed. I've been watching.
I know. So. Yeah, I'm like they're gonna have outtakes of me just being a weirdo when I'm drinking these beers. But no, I mean it's just it's just refreshing and it's delicious. It's crushable, like one of my favorite things. And like I said, having those flavor notes like transition so smoothly. It's like, what did you do to this beer?
Yeah, yeah. Like, and I think like last year, like we brewed this beer, but like we used all like more of the actual fruit puree in it.
Yeah.
And
Was that difficult?
I mean,
using fruit like that,
it makes it a little more difficult just because like we want to make sure none of that gets into the finished beer is our goal. Yeah. But the orange puree in particular kind of just made it a little more like amplified, kind of like the tartness, I guess, the citrus, like and so we wanted to like tone that down a little bit to make sure that we got like that sweetness to come through and like really complete the concept. So that's kind of like the reason we cut back on like the pure fruit and put the zest in instead.
Yeah.
To like still get that nice orange pop, but with less of like the like citrus like tang, if that makes sense. Because the beer itself is already sour, right?
Absolutely.
Perfect.
No, I love that. I love that. So tell us really quick. I know when you've mentioned Court and you've kind of alluded to Fossil Cove. What's the story there? I mean, what's going on with Court?
Court.
Shout out Court. What up?
What's up, Court?
Court.
Thanks for making incredible beers.
For sure. Yeah, he applied for a bartending position when we first opened, before we had opened. So he was one of our OG bartenders.
Okay.
And I had assumed he was interested in getting back into the brewing side, but I was like, hey, like I want to do this like myself, like for a while, and I'll let you know, like, if there's ever room, right? And he was like totally cool with that. He was like, yeah, that's cool. Like I'll bartend. If you need help, let me know. And so like I was saying in the beginning, I was trying to do everything myself. I was bartending. I was
as us achievers
brewing.
do.
I was doing all this
Spirit
stuff.
of the entrepreneur, I'm telling you.
And very quickly, again, I realized I can't do this all. And so, I don't know, maybe it was like October or something, I don't know. That first year that I was like, okay, man, I need help.
Yeah.
And so I brought him back kind of like more as like an assistant brewer capacity. And he had worked at Fossil Cove before as a brewer. And so he knew what he was doing. So, I mean, it had gotten to a point where I was like, I would like start a brew off like in the morning, and then I would like go do deliveries and sell beer in the afternoon. And he would like take over the brew from like then on. Right? Okay. And then I think it was at some point the following year that we promoted him to just full head brewer, and he kind of just took over the entire brewing side. So
kind of had that moment of just realizing, hey, he's competent. He's confident.
Yeah, he's a great brewer, and Absolutely. It was kind of like just me deciding on like what I wanted to do, like long term, right? Like, do I want to like focus on this brewing stuff, and have someone else handle, I don't know, like the numbers and all these other things that are going on, right? And I was like, you know what? He's better than me, I think, at brewing, and let's let him do that.
Corey writes that down.
And I mean that's kind of
like, mark it down. It's on YouTube. It's eternal at this point. So
yeah, I mean that's how I guess I've viewed everything, right? Like Court's better brewing than me. Let's let him brew, right?
Yeah.
And Hannah's way better at managing the tap room and being a front face
identifying
behind the bar,
strengths
right?
is a good leadership
Let's let her
skill.
do that.
Yeah.
Bradley, he's a way better salesperson than I'll ever be. Let's let him sell the beer. And so like delegating that stuff out and figuring out who's good at what and better than me at that. And so Court has taken our beers to another level and continue to innovate with all this like these really cool beers, Orange Creamsicle. I mean, any beer like outside of like, I don't know, the first 6 beers we made or something was probably his idea. So,
That's cool. Well, it sounds like you have a great team.
Yeah.
And you can tell when you're speaking about them how passionate you are.
Absolutely.
And I love that.
How big is your team?
I think we have, including me, I think it's 13.
Okay.
Oh, that's good. Yeah.
So we've got two full-time in the back, which Court and Hugh. Hugh's our cellarman, which he just joined us, relatively recently, I guess, last year.
Okay.
And then
which was 2019 for
2019. Yeah, 2019.
Hello, Hugh.
Hugh's awesome. And then our front of house, Hannah's like the anchor, and then we've got a couple like part-time bartenders, a full-time bartender. Zach is our new salesman, so props to Zach. Yeah, he's doing a great job.
I would take my hat off to you, but headphones are on, so that would complicate.
Yeah. So then I just kind of do what's left. So
that's awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, I love that.
Very cool. So we've got the story on that. We've got one more beer, right? Is that our deal?
Yeah. I've got Island Bound for us to try.
Ooh.
Hello.
Now is that your newest?
It's not our newest.
Okay.
This one came out in June.
Okay.
So it's not old by any means. But this beer we also brewed last year, and we brewed it again because people loved it.
Did you change anything?
I don't think we changed much of it. I think the only thing we changed, was we increased the dry hop a little bit because you can see this cool like pink color.
That's a nice color. It's kind of apricot looking.
Yeah, it's like apricot, grapefruitish almost.
We didn't
copper
fruitish.
So we do call it like a tropical smoothie IPA, and we wanted it to have a little more oomph behind the IPA side. So we increased the dry hop a little bit to make sure that that it's an IPA underneath all that, right?
Absolutely.
So this guy is brewed with pineapple, orange, and cherry.
Oh wow!
Hence the color. And
this might be a good way to get people into that IPA game.
Yeah.
A lot of people I like to call IPAs IPAs, but I feel like IPAs can be intimidating, but this is actually like really smooth.
So Derek, in case you, I believe you've seen our episodes before.
Yeah, I thought I was going to get out of this actually.
You're not going to escape.
Sorry, Charlie.
So we're looking at a couple others, but right now we still have If You Had To, and so I feel like at this point it's a staple. It's almost like a rite of passage, and so we have to play If You Had To. But yeah, I'm gonna be diving into this one. I know the smell of this one. It's nice and light. Mm-hmm. It's very easy, very approachable.
Deceiving is maybe the word.
Really?
Because it's 7.5%.
I am not smelling 7.5% in there.
That's 7. Whoa.
That is incredible. The taste of that one. Yeah, I think that's a fantastic beer for the lake, sitting around the pool, easy.
Yep.
But you would definitely not want to have too many of these around the pool because that would not be safe. Mm-mm. So don't do that. But yeah, no, this is a delicious beer.
It's really good.
Now, did you come up with this flavor, or did Cord, or who kind of came up with this one?
That was definitely Court. I'm trying to think. I think that maybe this was originally he went a couple years back. He had gone to Nevis for a wedding, and I think he came back with some tropical fruity vibes and was trying to like put that into a concept.
Yeah.
And yeah, I think this may be one of the babies.
Okay.
From that, yeah.
Now, have you just kind of getting into this area and this space here? Have you guys done any competition stuff or any shows or festivals and kind of gained some recognition there, or? What's some stuff that where have you gone to really get this in front of more
like
people
accolades?
in the public?
Yeah.
We haven't medaled in anything yet.
Soon.
Not yet.
Yeah. We have entered into GABF, I believe 2 years.
Yeah.
We did not do it this year. But
which I think they just announced recently that it's not going to happen, right?
Yeah, not in person, but they are doing. I guess they are doing a digital version. But we opted not to enter this year. But hopefully next year we will.
For those
come back.
listeners, Great American Beer Festival. It's usually in Colorado every year.
I'd love to go.
And it is a fantastic time. I know. What was it? The Untapped Beer Festival in Atlanta is also temporarily, indefinitely on hold
for sure
until they figure out really how to do it.
Yeah,
we were planning on trying to go to that this year, and that just didn't happen. So no, it's good. That's good.
So I mean, we haven't medaled yet. We've gotten really good feedback, I think, from the process, because we do get to see judges' remarks. We have entered Café Muy Especial, which I was telling you about earlier, one of our imperial stouts.
Okay.
And gotten really good feedback and progressed into second rounds on that one.
Oh,
so
nice.
Getting close-ish to like that territory, but it's also difficult depending on what beer you want to enter. A lot of it is like, what category does this fit into? Like. Café Muy Especial, for instance, it's like, does this go because it has coffee in it? Does it go in the coffee beer category? It has chilies in it. Does it go in the chili beer category?
I love chilies.
Does it go in just the stout category? Like it's difficult a lot of time to put it in the right category for it to do the best.
Gotcha.
Especially with some of the beers that we brew. Some are straightforward, of course, like IPA with but so that's part of the challenge. But and then also figuring out, what beer do we have that's fresh?
Yeah.
Like at this time when we have to send the beer to them, right? Because even that is hard, because you're sending a beer to them in like August that they don't drink until October or something like that. So
because you have to kind of preemptively think about where you're headed into the season.
So to really like make sure you're putting your super best foot forward, like there's definitely a lot of planning that needs to go into it. And it's not just as simple as, oh, here's a can of beer. You know what I mean?
Well, no, that's great. That's great. And speaking of putting your best foot forward, we're going to go ahead and ask you one question.
Okay.
It's going to be simple here.
Wait, I'm going to ask both of you.
Oh, you got two of us. All right. Why not? Let's go for it.
Yeah, sure. All right.
So who are you asking first, Bianca?
Are these hand-selected questions?
Yeah.
These are. Which is terrifying.
Okay, here we go.
Because I know the mind of that one over there, and she's
brilliant. That's what he means to say.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah, that's what I was getting at.
Brilliant.
Totally.
All right, here we go. Are you ready for this?
I'm ready.
Oh, just kidding. Okay. All right, Derek. if you had to, every time you wake up, you are careening down the world's steepest water slide, or
I'm not a fan.
Or you eat an entire tub of Pillsbury Creamy Supreme buttercream frosting every morning.
Oh, that's easy. I'll eat that buttercream all day. I love that buttercream.
Yeah, it's good. I mean, who doesn't?
You could eat that and then go for a mountain bike ride and be fine.
Yeah, totally. I was like, you could just like up your athletic game. And
I'm not down with heights. Like that's not gonna go well for me.
That would talk about a wake up. You're like,
I feel like that would be the best caffeine ever. Would be massive adrenaline rush. Why not?
I love this. All right, Brian.
Bongo, what do we got? Hit me with your shot.
Take the SAT over and over until you get a perfect score, which is, I think, is a 32. Or is it 32? 33?
It's never going to happen.
I didn't do that well. All right. Just kidding. I did fine.
SAT or ACT?
SAT.
Oh, I think.
Oh, just kidding. ACT is 32.
ACT is 30.
SAT is 1600?
Yeah.
I don't know. SAT, I was like, okay.
All right.
Cut all that out. All right. Joel, please. All right. Every time you fall asleep, you end up stuck in Narnia.
What's wrong
I
with
feel like Narnia is pretty good.
That's fine.
Actually.
What's wrong?
Is it?
Every time I fall asleep,
You're the guy that's going to get
stuck in
killed.
Narnia for how long? Or is
They
it
don't
just
say.
that's my continual dream? Every time I
Can't
fall
get
asleep,
out of Narnia.
I feel like that's okay because there's enough regions of Narnia.
And maybe
I'm
you'll
good with
get
that.
better at like protecting yourself.
Yeah, why not?
Okay.
And I like archery, so
Yeah, honestly, and that lion Aslan is way cool. So,
Aslan is baller.
That's cool. Right.
Yeah.
And
So no, that's fantastic. Well, tell you what, I will ask. So Derek, really quick question for you.
Mm-hmm.
If our listeners would like to find your beers anywhere, where can they find you? Are you guys only exclusively Northwest Arkansas?
Yes. So just Northwest Arkansas. Fort Smith is about as far towards Little Rock as we go right now.
How far north do you go?
We go. We're up in Mountain Home.
Okay.
Oh,
yeah, Mountain Home.
Lakes.
Salem Springs, we're out there as well. But that's about it. So we hadn't got all the way down to Little Rock yet. So yeah, just Northwest Arkansas right now, really.
Okay, cool. Yeah. Well, thank you again for joining us. I know the beers here are incredible.
They are.
Thank you.
If you get a chance, what's your address for everybody listening?
Your home address.
Yeah. No. What's where can people find you and stop by the tap room? I know you're here in Rogers.
Yeah.
Obviously, if you just look up New Providence Rogers, you'll find them. But you guys are located really close to what?
Yeah, it's 1310 West Hudson Road.
Yeah.
So it's just out there, just kind of close to that picture of Harley Davidson, if you know where that's at.
Yep.
Same exit as INWAC.
Yeah. Exit 86?
Yep.
Is that right?
Yep.
All right. Fantastic. Exit 86 here in Rogers. And so, man, thank you again for joining us.
Thank you.
We appreciate it. And
Thank you.
You know what? Keep being awesome. You guys are doing some
Keep
incredible
being
things.
you.
We'll talk to you
We'll
soon.
see you soon.
And thanks for joining us here on Beyond the Tap. Make sure and subscribe to us.
Yeah, follow us. Go to our social media. It'll be real easy for you to follow all the things. Our link tree has the full menu.
True story.
See you
and,
later.
Make sure and rate us 5 stars.
Also, drink
we're
all
5
these
stars.
beers.